Hello, it's good that you're back here with me. Okay, so this is episode 1 of this new series I started. I haven't picked a name yet. All I know is sort of gonna be like a podcast sort of style where it's minimal edits of me just talking about a topic with you guys. And you guys get to leave a comment in the section and I get to talk about it. Because the last video I made like this went really well and you guys were giving me your feedbacks and telling me how you related to me. And I thought it would be good to do another one of these. So this is the rotten girl versus the clean girl aesthetic. That's the topic for today. If you don't know what the rotten girl is, it's like a girl that sort of just rots in beds, eats food in her bed, doesn't really do much besides like doom scroll in her bed and stuff like that, and just has like a messy space. Well, the clean girl is someone who has a very cleanly space, who, you know, goes to the gym at like 5 in the morning, who does daily runs and daily walks, does 10k steps a day. Like, those are sort of the clean girl aesthetics, right? Very opposite of the spectrum, right? And today's topic is whether or not which one is worse. I actually think the clean girl and fitness space is actually a lot more harmful towards young women, as much as people like to state otherwise. I think it is. And that actually came because, life update, I now have a job. I'm not unemployed anymore. No more eating just a single banana a day, so I'm not hungry, you know. But I've been journaling the last week as well because I think I finally cracked the code. Now, if you've seen us, like, psychologists and therapists and stuff, they love mentioning journaling. I've seen them for like 8 years. I've tried journaling on multiple occasions, and I have tried, like, genuinely tried for a couple of weeks, and it's never really worked. It's never really stuck for me. I've never really enjoyed it either. And as I mentioned, they just love suggesting it. Your mom and dad got divorced? Journal it. You know, you want to jump off of a rock? Also journal it. You know, you're getting bullied at school for being different? Journal it. You know, like, I've had quite a couple of those, you know. I feel like I hit all 3 of those tick boxes. But, you know, like, they just love suggesting it, and I've never really enjoyed it. I've tried it. Like, I've generally tried it. And I finally cracked the code on why I don't like it, because I feel everything really deeply. Like, I feel everything and nothing at the exact same time, which somehow doesn't even make sense, yet it does. I'm sure many of you guys feel the exact same way I'm describing it. And the issue is me saying I feel upset. I feel like my emotions are a lot more complicated and have a lot more depth than just a single word. And I feel like I have a really hard time picking words, even with like the emotion wheels. I feel like those words just don't explain my feelings in the slightest, even if that's every emotion in that wheel. I feel like my emotions are just too complicated and have too much depth to even be written, or even thought, or be able to articulate enough. So I hated journaling because of it. But now I find a way. I just write like a diary. And I also realize I also don't like it if it doesn't look aesthetically, like, pleasing, and that means, like, I need the whole page filled out. So if I went just to the shops today, I'm not going to be writing that in my fucking journal. As bad as it sounds, like, I'm not going to, because the whole page isn't filled. So, like, I don't want to write it if I don't have enough, like, to write a whole page, because it's just so aesthetically pleasing. But today's topic, the rotten girl versus the aesthetic, like, clean girl, fitness girl, is actually inspired because I had written, like, a small little passage. I'm not going to read it because I don't want you guys reading it, but I had written a small little passage about it. Fascinating, isn't it? This is actually because I'm a bed rotter myself. I'm a rotten girl. I like to just eat food in bed. Here's the funny thing. I actually had dated someone and I had them live with me a couple of years ago, and one of their pet peeves was the fact that I always left stuff on the bed. So if I was drawing that day and I was drawing on my bed, I would have my sketchbook on the bed, and I would go to bed with the sketchbook on the bed. I just left stuff on the bed and I fell asleep in the bed with things all around me. Don't know why I did that. I still do that occasionally. I try not to do it as much. But yeah, this topic came about because I was actually doom scrolling in bed because I was having one of those days where I'm just so depressed. I just don't want to do anything. Like, I'm so sad. I am so miserable in my life. I'm just crying all day and I just want to lay in bed. I just don't want to do anything. Like, I don't want to think, I don't want to do anything. I just doom scroll on my phone the entire day. So I ended up doing that. I doom scrolled and I came across a video on TikTok. Now, I don't want to do, like, verbatim or what she said or anything, but it was about this girl, and she was talking about, like, these 2.0 Emma Chamberlain girls, and how, like, it's very harmful towards younger girls when, you know, like these 2.0s get really famous, and, like, they could pay someone to clean their rooms, but they don't because of the aesthetic. And it made me thinking, because I guess I could be counted as, like, one of those 2.0, like, Emma Chamberlains. My room isn't very clean, as you can see. Like, I have stuff on the floors, you know, and I have random shit all around. Like, I'm not gonna lie and be like, I'm a clean girl. I'm not. But also I'm not gonna say I'm on the other end of the spectrum with like the extreme rotten girls. Like, I'm not one of those. As you know, some people like to make me seem out. I'm not. But I think people don't realize is when you have younger girls, right? We're already going through a lot. We get our periods, we get our crushes, we get all these like I think for me, 13 to 18 was probably probably the most traumatic time I think I will ever have in my life, because it is such a vulnerable time, because you are growing into like a woman, as people like to explain it. And I felt so vulnerable in that time because I wasn't a kid anymore, but I wasn't an adult either. And so I felt, and I'm in school, and people are really mean at school, and they're just really cruel. And I remember when I was 14, 16, and I came across Ember Chamberlain's YouTube account. She had just started blowing up that summer. I was literally 16, and I was in year 10. And I don't think, when people love to talk about how like these rotten girls are really bad for younger people, I don't think they truly understand where they're coming from. Because I remember watching Ember Chamberlain, I remember watching like Madeline Argy like a couple of years ago, I think, when she started making her account, and I didn't feel so alone in the world anymore, because I had felt I was already so isolated. I had suffered from mental illness. I had just recently got diagnosed with autism when I was 18. I had suffered from anxiety since I was like 12. You know, I had like little ODC tendencies, like really badly, to the point that I got eczema and stuff because I kept washing my hands when I was like 8. Like, I suffered like pretty badly throughout my life, and I felt like it tenfolded when I turned into a teenager and I was surrounded by all these other girls, and like that's when I felt like society had just started pushing these expectations onto me. I felt like when I was a kid, I didn't have to look pretty, I didn't have to wear makeup, I didn't have to impress boys, I could be carefree, I could like jump around, I didn't get judged for any of that. But once I hit high school, I just felt so alone, because I felt like there was all of these society pressures just compiled onto me once I started to like grow into my body, which I hated. You know, like, and I remember as a kid, I definitely was not attractive. I didn't know how to do makeup. I didn't start doing makeup till I was 17 when COVID hit, and like I just remember like suffering and feeling so alone, and that I wasn't as conventionally attractive as my other female peers. I wasn't, you know, getting crushes like boys. You know, I remember hearing my friends complaining that they're like having all these guys crushing on them, and I'm like, but no one's crushing on me. It would be nice, please. And I feel like, as I mentioned, I came across Ember Chamberlain when I was 16. Like, I had just cut my hair really short. I sort of stopped caring what other people thought of me as dramatically and as drastically as I did when I was 15. But I came across her channel when she had started blowing up, and when she started sort of doing, I think, James Charles like collabs and stuff like that. And it felt so nice to see someone not be fake online, that they had a messy room, that they were answering Q&As while doing their laundry, that they lived in a normal house. It felt nice to sort of be like, okay, she's relatable. She lives in a house. She doesn't live in a mansion. She doesn't have this. She doesn't have that. And, you know, she also struggles as well. And it felt nice. It felt like I wasn't alone, and that, you know, like, I just wasn't alone, and it felt so nice. It was the same thing like a couple of years ago with Madeline Argy, you know, especially when she started talking about her own mental health issues with anxiety. I think she has OCD. I don't know, don't quote me or anything, but I know she has a thing with germs like I did when I was like, I still do. So it's nice to see that other people, you know, also have messy rooms, that they also have this, and that I don't have to be bombarded. Because I don't know what your TikTok is like, but I see so many TikToks of like clean girl and the fitness girl aesthetic in my algorithm. I don't even like them, right? But they're shoved down my fucking throat every fucking like 5 videos. I'm like going insane. And it is so nice to see that there's influencers like Madeline Argy and Amber Chamberlain, where they, like, they're pretty, right? You know, but they're messy and they suffer from mental illness. There are actually people out there that are relatable, that get what I'm thinking, that get what I'm, like my thoughts are, that understand the struggle that I'm experiencing. And it was so nice to see that. And it's also nice to see that even if I did get rich, my problems wouldn't be solved. Like, I think that's the thing where, like, a lot of people think that money will solve problems, but I don't think it will. It will give you resources, but it will not solve the problem, especially if you have something that's chronic. Like, I don't think money's gonna solve my autism anytime soon, Like, sucks to be me. But it was nice to see these girls, like, they didn't feel fake. They felt genuine, and I didn't have to, like, a lot of people think that sort of stuff will harm girls, but I remember thinking that sort of stuff actually helped me. When I listened to Billie Eilish and her songs, and even though they're depressing, it was nice not to feel alone. That's the issue. I feel like when you reach a point where you shove things that seem pretty much unrealistic, even though they could be, you could become a clean girl in the next month, but it's very unlikely and it would be very difficult to. It feels nice to have relatability, to know that people experience what I feel, that Billie Eilish experiences depression, that Madeline Chamberlain, experiences OCD, I think, or regarding germs, and she has anxiety and she has panic attacks. Same thing with Emma Chamberlain. Like, it's nice to see that people talk about it, that is a thing. And when you get clean girls that just post their perfect life every single day, they post that they're matching work outfits, they post their fucking gym routine, they post their fucking, like, Whole Foods on my fucking TikTok. It seems so unsustainable, and that I feel like I have to fit that mold, and I just don't like it, and I feel like it makes me more depressed. I'm not sure about what you guys feel, but I feel like when I get shoved, when I feel like something is unattainable, and I feel like it is, like, impossible, I get more depressed seeing it. So if I see people that are bedrotting, it feels great, because it's like, okay, like, I'm not doing bad in life, these people are famous and they also still bedrot, like, it's not a me issue. But when I see, like, a clean girl or a fitness girl going to the gym every day, which, like, I'm not gonna complain, I go to the gym I think like 3 or 4 times a week, but that's because I need to for my line of work. I'm a plumber. I need to go to the gym, or else I'm just not gonna have a job. Like, I need to have the strength to, like, lift shit up. But like, a lot of people, the gym makes them feel better. For me, it doesn't. I feel like with me, I often struggle a lot, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that makes everyone feel better just doesn't. Like, journaling doesn't really make me feel better. It's nice. I feel like it's easier to articulate my thoughts and stuff like that. Not my feelings, but my thoughts. And it does at least make me feel a little bit better. Be able to write stuff down and keep it in there. And I can look back on it in years. But it's the same thing as, like, people feel really good when they go to the gym. I just don't feel that. I go to the gym, I do a really good workout session, I'm like, oh, that was good, but I don't feel good. I actually feel worse, because now I feel tired, and I have shit to do at home. But it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like when people try to push young women to do these, I guess what you would say, like, these unsustainable goals, I already feel like there's so much pressure on young girls to be perfect, to do this, to do that, but then to add another bit of pressure to make them go to the gym, make them fit the clean girl aesthetic, all men love that. And to pressure them to be like this perfect person, like, when they've already been pressured their whole life, but now you're putting in a whole nother criteria on top of that, it's just insane. Who cares if someone wants to have a messy room? Who cares if someone wants to fucking bed rot all fucking day? Who cares if someone wants to go for a fucking 10,000 step walk for an hour? They can go do that. It's their own time. I don't see the point in judging people for doing what they do in their own home, where they probably feel the safest. Like, I love my space. I live in a share house. And I feel like it's the most safest little spot. It's my room. It's my space. I love it. I don't like it to feel the fact that I have to be judged for wanting to bed rot for a day because I feel depressed. I don't want to do anything. And I feel like a lot of these people that judge often have easy jobs, right? They often do easy things in life, and things are a lot more easier to them. And that's why I just don't like, right? Can you imagine telling, like, I a lot of these fitness influencers, is the thing that really bothers me, is they really push getting up at 5 in the morning. They really push going to the gym beforehand. They really push eating whole foods. They really push that sort of content. And I feel like that is way more harmful than someone saying, yeah, I just bed rather today because I'm depressed. Yeah, you know, I'm sort of just lazy. You know, I just don't really clean my room. I feel like that is not as harmful because it's not really pushing, right? But like having like having them, pressure people going to the gym before work. I get up at 3 in the morning for work. I'm not getting up any fucking earlier to go to the gym. And like I have a second job now, which is even worse. Because you know what my daily schedule's like? Get up at 3 a.m. Go to work at 6. Right? Finish work at 2. Drive back to where I live because I travel for work because I'm a plumber. Start the second job at 5. Get off at 10 p.m. and then go to the gym for an hour and then go to sleep. Right? And some people might think that's not bed riding. It's not really like I have a choice, really. I mean, I have to look after my younger brother, right? And that causes me to have to, get a second job, right? Realistically, you know what I would do? If I was like these rich influencers, I wouldn't be having a fucking job, right? Good for them for not having a job. I would be bed rotting all day. I would be posting a video on YouTube 2 times a week. I would make sure that those 2 days I'm out of bed, but the other 5, I'm in bed rotting. I'm having my snacks. I'm having the window blinds closed, and I'm watching YouTube all day. That is like my dream life. That is literally my dream life. I listen to Billie Eilish in the mornings. I watch Madeline Argy and Emma Chamberlain in the evenings, and I watch Tara Yummy at night. That's my ideal. That is literally my ideal day, where I just bed rot all day, and then maybe some days I go out to see friends, or some days I go out and do something for my YouTube channel. That is ideally what I would enjoy the most. But yeah, like I feel like, bringing it back to the topic, I feel like women have already so much pressure to be perfect and to be this version of themselves that I feel like having this other category, like being a clean girl, is just more unsustainable and more pressure to already like a cup full of water. Like there is so much pressure, like keep your legs closed, don't do this, if you have a dress, as I mentioned, like keep your legs closed when you have a dress on, don't mansplain, don't like manspread, I meant not mansplain, don't med spread, I do that, I don't care, if I'm wearing a fucking dress, I'm spreading those legs, those bitches can see it, but like dress feminine, like dress like a girl, don't dress like a boy. Like I've experienced so much in my childhood where I would actually get ridiculed by my dad and his side of the family for not dressing like a girl enough. Like I once like went to, I think, like an engagement in like jeans and a top, and this is like I live in a poor like suburb, like a poor crime-riven suburb at this stage of my life, and I was not gonna dress fancy. I'm sorry, it wasn't at a fancy venue, it was at a fucking pub. I'm not fucking dressing fancy for a fucking pub, right? And my nan had came up to me, she's like, oh, you should have worn a dress. You're not even wearing a dress either, honey. Why are you telling me to? Or I would have my dad tell me I dress like a boy because I'm wearing sweatpants and a fucking hoodie with my hood up. Do I look like I'm fucking dressing for you? I'm dressing for comfort in my own home. Like, who the fuck are you telling me to? Like, and then I had people tell me to wear makeup and stuff. And eventually I caved into that because I wanted to look pretty. But I actually like it now. I actually have quite a good relationship with makeup and I like looking pretty, But it's more of a case of like, I feel like there's so much pressure of you have, oh my god, my cat's just licking his ass underneath the chair, like it's but yeah, there's so much pressure already for like women to behave a certain way or act a certain way, and I find it rather impulsive. Can't speak today. Sorry, that's just so weird, isn't it? But yeah, I find it rather impulsive. I don't think that's the word. No, I'm saying impulsive. Repulsive. There we go. Not impulsive. I find it repulsive that people try to tell me what I should do or who I should be. I've had people tell me to be less vulgar. Dude, I'm in Australia. I'm gonna fucking swear like a sailor. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Or, dress more ladylike, do this, do that. And it's like, dude, I'm not accommodating to you. And everyone has a different opinion. That is the worst thing I think about being a woman is the fact that people have different opinions on what you should be. There is obviously like a society, like norms, like, be a clean girl, dress feminine, dress like a girl, like do this. But I swear that everyone has a fucking opinion on you, and it's so annoying because it's like, I don't want to dress like that. If I want to dress in a dress, that's fucking great. But right now, you know what I'm wearing? I'm wearing a fucking t-shirt, an oversized t-shirt, right, of tulle, because I saw him. Right, look how cool that is. A band shirt, and I'm wearing bike shorts. I'm not going to show you that because I don't want you guys to see my butt. And I'm wearing socks. But I feel like it is so hard being a woman because you just have all these norms and telling people, hey, you can't just bed rot, you can't do this, which I feel like a lot of people want to do. They want to be able to relax in bed without the pressure, like the hustle culture pressure, without the clean girl pressure, without the fitness pressure, and they might want to bed rot, but they feel this stuff is being shoved so far down our throats that I feel like it is going to get to a point when no one wants to do that, and they start to subconsciously feel the pressure of it, which I think we already are. And like, that's the worst bit. It's gotten to a point, like, I think I used to try to be like a fitness thing, like a fitness girly, but I'm not. I don't want to be. As I mentioned, my dream thing would be to get rich, maybe be an influencer, like a YouTube influencer. I vlog my life, and on the days I'm not vlogging, I get to lay in bed and be depressed and question my life choices, and be like, damn, I should get Chick-fil-A. We don't have that in Australia. Taco Bell. I'd be like, damn, I want to get Taco Bell and Starbucks. But I don't know, I feel like there's just so much pressure, and it's just hard. And I think the fitness, I also think fitness isn't probably, like, the fitness culture isn't great because I feel like half the time these people try to be PTs, like they're not certified PTs or even nutritionists, and they start telling you what you should be and what you shouldn't be, and they're spreading fake facts or not like factually correct information. And I feel like that does more harm than anything than the girl just telling you to bed rot. Like, I don't think like the fitness stuff is good, to be fair. Ooh, wait, oh my god. Is that how bad my hair is? Oh my god, you guys seeing this? It's like blonde at the tips. What the hell? Anyway, figure that out. But yeah, no, like, I just don't think it's very, like, beneficial towards people to have that sort of mindset towards young girls and what they should and shouldn't do. Like, you should be teaching them how to, I guess, like, if you're really that worried, be able to moderate their mental health, moderate fitness in, healthy levels, but I feel like being a rotten girl is a lot less harmful than, like, potentially going down that clean girl fitness route. Maybe that's just my opinion. I'm not sure what you guys feel, to be fair, but, like, from someone like myself, where I struggled a lot during my youth, I feel like having influences like the rotten girl, like, influences, or that Ember Chamberlain 2.0s helped me a lot better in life than, like, these clean girl aesthetics where their life's entirely perfect and everything is in that particular spot, and that pen is in the exact same spot it was, and if it's 1 degree out, it's over. Like, I feel like the rotten girl is a lot more relatable, and I feel like it's a lot more closer to girlhood than I feel like the clean girl and the fitness culture is. For me personally, I felt like it was a lot more relatable, and I felt like I didn't have to be completely perfect like society was expecting me to. But you let me know. I think I'm going to end the video here because it's only 25 minutes and I don't want my phone to overheat. But if you guys like it, you guys can always just suggest comments of yourself. You guys can suggest comments and topics that you guys want me to discuss, and I'll be more than happy to. You can also, I don't know, do whatever you want. You can mention out how you relate to me or how you don't. I love discussing things with you guys, and I hope you guys have a lovely day and a lovely afternoon. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.